Strong looks different for each of us, and it's time to put focus on our unique journeys that get us there. This space created weekly is for athletes to improve their mindset in order to better navigate challenges that come up in sport and in different seasons of life. On this show, we ask the questions that lead to better answers and have the conversations that truly matter. This is the Becoming Your Strong podcast. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Your Strong podcast. I just got back a few hours ago from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It is Monday. And I'll be honest, I was debating of whether or not I should release an episode on my afterthoughts from this past weekend. I will be totally transparent. I'm a little emotionally charged from what happened this past weekend. There were a lot of incredible things that did happen this weekend, so I'm definitely not saying that the weekend was crap, because as many of you that watched, that were either there or watched from the live streams, I had a great weekend. But there were some things that I walked away from totally frustrated, sad, gutted, that is just leaving me in a place that's struggling to see some of those incredible things. And I know that there are probably plenty of you that are sitting in a similar situation that I am. And I thought, while I am emotionally charged, I am in a place right now, after taking time to think about it on my travels back home, to start to talk about how I'm navigating some of those feelings and thoughts, and to really talk about how I'm moving forward, to share the lessons that I'm starting to learn that are becoming apparent to me. And I think that would be such a beneficial episode for not just me to record and to decompress, but to also help you start to navigate some of those things. So before I do go into the meat potatoes of the episode, I do want to say just thank you. The amount of people that came up to me that said, I listened to your podcast, I follow you along just in your journey on social media, hearing all of your kind words, things that you had to say. I mean, guys, this is why I do this, right? I just try to be that raw, real, genuine voice for all of you, for all of us, because this stuff is hard. It's so wonderful, but it's hard. And I never want people to feel like they're alone. I really want to help them feel like they are not alone in going on these mental and emotional journeys in life, and that together we can hold hands from afar and really become stronger together. So there is nothing better than walking away from a weekend with new friends, new conversations, new connections, and just knowing that you guys are here with me and we're doing this together. So I'm so grateful for all of you. I do want to start off with addressing the elephant in the room, as this is the thing that is leaving my heart aching a lot. I want to talk about what happened in the race with Olivia during the Elite Female Strong Teams, as that did not go as planned, and we encountered something so unexpected that we just both are quite honestly gutted and we're heartbroken. So during the race, I had just set down the weights from the farmer's carry, and Olivia was beginning to take on her first lap. Now, just to set the stage, they were running a lot of teams at once, and I think they put 16 to 18 lanes on the strong day, which is a lot to fit into a small space. During my individual race, I was like, wow, this is going to be nuts for team. There's not a lot of room to really transition. And so all of that to say, we were in very close quarters with all the teams. And when you double the people, there's just a lot of humans out there. Plus you have your judges, plus you have the people recording. There's just a lot going on. And it is not uncommon for people to bump into each other, to nudge, to, just accidentally make contact. It happens. But all that to say that Olivia, on her very first farmer carry lap, was hit by the competitor in the lane next to us. And by hit, I mean the dumbbell that she was holding in her hand made direct contact with Olivia's hand and immediately turned it black and blue. Olivia's face, we have footage of it, went into pure pain, panic. You could tell she was not okay. And I don't know how she held onto the damn dumbbell. to be quite honest with you. But she finished out the 3 laps that she was responsible for and then went and tagged me off. And guys, I had no idea that any of this was happening at all. But Olivia, at that point in time, was looking around for help because she was really scared that her hand might have been broken or something was not right. Like, she just sees it turning black and blue. It's in a lot of pain. And she's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold on to the bike. I don't know if I can hold on to the tank straps. Like, there is so much going on in the moment, in the middle of the most important race for the weekend for the both of us. And here I am. I have no idea. I'm just pushing as hard as I can to keep us moving in the right direction. And so we make it through all the stations. Again, I have no idea. We crossed 7 seconds behind the team that was next to us. So they took first, we took second. And I'm laying on the floor. And of course, I'm thinking, okay, like, amazing. We moved up a spot from last year. Last year we were third. This year we're second. And today the other girls just had a little bit more than us. And we fully expected that. Like, not expected that other people would beat us, but we knew that it was going to come down to the wire. And it was whoever had the fight, the want, the ability to put together the perfect race on that day that was going to take it. And so I, of course, was sad, but I was like, this is just how it goes. And then I turn over to Olivia, and that's when she shows me her hand. And I'm like, when did this happen? Like, what in the world occurred? And so she explained the situation to me, and she's still on this adrenaline high, right? Like, we just got done racing. We're laying on the floor. She's trying to think that she's fine, but really inside she's like freaking out. And I'm like, okay, we need to get a medic. We need to make sure that you're okay. All the things. And so I do want to report that Olivia is okay. She ended up going to seek help at urgent care. And luckily, at least from what we can see from x-rays, her hand is going to be okay. It doesn't look like there's any fracture or broken bones. It's in a bit of pain. It's still very swollen. The color is still on the nastier side. So she's recovering from that. Physically, she's going to be okay. Mentally and emotionally, both of us are really struggling to be okay. It is one thing when you lose fair and square. It is another thing when you don't even get the chance to execute. When something out of your control completely hits you out of nowhere and it takes away all fairness and a chance for you to actually show what you're capable of. Olivia was feeling so good. She was ready to do our part on the back half of the course. That's the kind of racers we are. We are always back half racers. And she couldn't. And today she's beating herself up because she couldn't give what she knew that she could. And she's doubting, like, well, I wish I kind of would have known that this was going to happen so I could have pushed harder on the front end. She feels like she let me down. She let herself down. Not only that, she didn't get to do her last race. She didn't get to have the ending to Worlds that she wanted. She ended it by leaving to go to the freaking urgent care. Like, my heart is just so sad for her. It's so sad for the both of us that we've worked so hard all year for something that unfortunate to happen. Now, here's what I want to say. I don't think there was never ill intent. I don't believe that this individual did this on purpose, even though I will just share this from my perspective. When I was doing the farmer's carry, they both partners were incredibly erratic with their weights and how they were turning around, and their weights were swinging out. And I was really nervous about them hitting me and running into me. And they also hit another competitor in the lane next to them and sent their dumbbell almost flying. So it's one thing to, like, actually, you know what? I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to leave that where it rests. I really don't think that there was any ill intent, but where my heart really starts to hurt is that nothing was done about it. Nothing. Like, there were people that were upset. Clearly I was upset, but there were other people that were really upset and were asking for penalties and for something to be done. So I don't want to say there was nothing done. And there was, footage that was being reviewed, and that's how we determined that there was no ill intent. And I don't blame that racer whatsoever. But here's where I really struggle is, for one, to be told that it's our fault because we made the lanes too small and that was the cause of this harm, but there's nothing we can do about it. That was the first thing that really upset me, of like, okay, so this is your fault, but you're not going to do anything further about it. Like, you're not going to find a way to make this fair. And unfortunately, that's just how life goes, and you just have to deal with it. And I'm learning to just accept that. The other thing that really breaks my heart is, like, if this was a role reversal, you guys, I would have been so saddened that I hurt another athlete. Like, literally would have came up to them, regardless of how bad or not bad they thought it was, to come and make sure the person was okay. And to say, okay, like, I caused this unfairness for you not to not be able to race the way that you wanted to race. How can we make this fair? There's no way that if I had done that to someone else, that I would have been able to stand on top of that freaking podium smiling, knowing that I hurt another athlete. I didn't apologize. I did nothing about it to make it right. I can't sleep at night doing that. But that's just me. That's me on the other side of a very emotionally charged situation. And I need to forgive them. I need to forgive everyone, because it's not their job to feel the way that I feel. It's my job to feel how I'm feeling and to create perspective out of it, to create a learning lesson out of it. And that's really where I want to get to. Is I've been sitting here thinking about what could possibly be the lesson. Like, why did Olivia have to get hurt? Why did it have to go down this way? I can't fully grasp like what this lesson could possibly be. But when I was thinking about it on my travel back home, the lesson that I'm finding from this is that a win is just a singular moment in time, but the journey is the absolute gift. I think about how close Olivia and I got this past weekend, like even closer than we already were as friends. We got to have so many snuggle moments because we were sleeping in the same bed. And the morning of the strong, we literally woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning to go to the bathroom, and we had an applesauce packet because why not? So we sat there and giggled about that as we ate applesauce at 3 a.m. in the morning in bed. We had this special moment in the recovery area where we were talking through strategy, but also just like sharing our love for how much we genuinely just love each other and love to race with one another. And we also got to watch each other do big things. Like, I got to watch her find so much freaking joy on the course this morning. And there is nothing better than watching someone you love get to do that. And these are the things that I will always remember. These are the things that are worth remembering. The title, of course, would have been the icing on the cake. But like, here's the honest truth. People are going to forget what you've accomplished, but they will never, ever, ever forget who you are and how you choose to show up, especially when things like this happen to you. While Olivia and I are saddened by this, our real responsibility is to show up better for ourselves, for each other, and for the people that are watching us go through this. To not let this moment stop us, but rather it be the fuel to our fire that allows us to have a dominant comeback in the future, because trust me, there will be one. To help others that struggled with bad judging calls or outcomes that didn't go their way, to help them realize that there is so much to be grateful for and that you never, ever lose, you just learn. Guys, what an honor it is to take that journey before each of you. And that is what's keeping my head high as I start to move past this. I'm taking the time to feel and to validate my feelings and realize how unfair this is, and acknowledge that life is not fair, but that I have a job to do, and that's to be a better person. And I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna become better after this. Now that I'm past that, I want to take time to talk about the really good moments that happened this weekend, and not just out of, like I said, to boast or to just be overly like celebratory of what happened, but I want to share the things that ultimately came out of those and like why I'm celebrating them, because again, I think that's just going to help you all. The first one is during the co-ed mile race with Kevin. We were after our goal of defending the world champion title from last year. And I got to have this phenomenal moment after we finished the tank where we were on the run and I'm on the straightaway after the hairpin turn. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm gliding. Yes, my heart rate is through the roof. I'm breathing heavy, but I'm gliding. And I just finally had that opportunity to take in that moment that I wanted so badly, to just be present and to smile and to just take it all in. I got to have that in realizing that we did it. I did it. I pushed past my fears, my doubts of being in this field again, of really thick competition, of never being the runner of the group, of probably being the slowest out of everyone to line up that day. Like, I was just so proud of myself. I was so filled with joy that I executed and that I got to feel that love for racing in that moment, for pushing myself to the limits and getting to share space with someone that I care so much about. Now, while my moment ended up in a massive win, I realize that some of you might have had those moments, but right now they're being overshadowed because it didn't end up in a win. Maybe you are struggling to realize and really celebrate those moments where you did smile and you felt on top of the world and you felt strong because the result was different than you initially hoped for. So this is me encouraging you to take a moment to think through every single one of your races, every time you took the floor, and to think, wow, I really gave it my all. Wow, I am so proud of that version of me that I have worked so hard to build and that showed up in that way. The one that pushes to their limits and executes under insane pressure. Give yourself the credit, guys. Like, try and take the results aside and think just through every moment that you can possibly recall from the races that you had this weekend. And just find those moments. Like, take the time to do that. And I think you're going to really find yourself giggling and smiling and laughing, or just even being like, wow, I'm so badass. I am so cool. And what a gift that I got to experience that I said yes to doing this. And despite all the results, I got to become better, faster, stronger, a better version of me. The second moment that I had is actually sort of like a combination of moments, but it was just the opportunity to watch other people have their moments. I had a very sweet gal, Sylvania, come up to me, who is a listener of the show. And she not only talked about how she's followed my journey with rucking, but that also she has listened to so many of the latest podcast episodes. And she's been a nervous wreck leading up to this Worlds. And some of the things that have been talked about on here have genuinely helped her. And she goes, that's all I plan to do today, is just to keep what you've said in my heart and in my mind and race with that today. And so we got to have a really awesome moment before she went after the DEKA Fit race, and she won it. I got to watch her cross the freaking finish line in first place, and that was like so awesome. By no means do I feel responsible for her win, but just to know that, like, when we share ideas and thoughts and come together as a community, that like we genuinely impact each other's lives, like that to me was a really amazing moment. My athlete, Sam Dawes, who also was in the ruck division all throughout the weekend, I didn't get to see this, but I heard about this and I know how big of a moment it was. But she has always struggled with the burpees, and she was in a like really intense battle between the third and the fourth place person. Well, they were both in the third place contention spot. And she did burpees unlike any other pace she has ever hit before in her life. She absolutely crushed them. And she won her very first individual podium at World Championships. I watched my Colorado crew that I just absolutely love and adore have the absolute time of their life racing and just truly finding joy in it and seeing just so many wins this weekend. Guys, I say all of this because when you struggle to see the good things that maybe happened within your own races or just within yourself, look outwardly and recognize the good that's happening with the people around you. And just come to realize that your life, it's so much bigger than a result. And that you are blessed with opportunities to be with, to surround yourself with, to grow with an amazing community that helps you become the best version of you. The third was during my individual race on the strong day. And I was a little saddened by this, that during my first race of the day, which was the strong ruck, it pushed me a little bit more than I wanted because it was so hot. Like, I was miserable with the amount of heat that I was experiencing in my core internal temp. I was sweating profusely. I honestly, at one point during the tank, wanted to rip my clothes off and say, forget it, I'm done. And I was clearly winning by a lot, and I was willing to give it up in the last quarter of the race. And when I got done with that, I was like, shit, this is totally going to impact me later. And when I went to go warm up, I could tell that I was fatigued, that I wasn't feeling 100%. And I was like, dang it. I'm seated fourth. Not to say that that's going to be the outcome, but I have a chance. I have the ability. I have the fitness to potentially podium today. And I just am so bummed that I might not get the chance to do that because of where my physical state was at. But that's life. That is just the risk you run when you race multiple races before your important race. And it is what it is. And I had to get over it. So when I took the starting line, I was tired and I had doubts. And I kept telling myself, don't count yourself out based on how you're feeling, because feelings are fleeting. Give yourself a chance to just get into it, find your flow, and just execute one step at a time. That's the only goal, is focus on the very first lunge. And whatever happens after that, you just continue to focus on the step that you're on. And that's honestly how I operated through this race. And when I got to the burpees, I was fighting within the top 5. We all were in the burpee zone together. The top 2 had already finished, but it was not clear who was going to take 3rd through 5th. And I was like, all right, this is my chance. I got to go. And I shit you not, guys, I have never felt myself go faster in burpees during any sort of individual race. And I wanted to share this because I'm so proud of that person that crossed the finish line. And I'm proud of that person because I had the doubts, I had the excuses, I had the negative feelings, but I didn't let them drive. This journey, what I'm coming to find, is not about eliminating the doubts because they're never going to go away. But rather it's about being strong enough to turn the volume down on them. As we enter into a brand new race season, which is just crazy to think, oh my God, here we go again. Hopefully some of you guys take some off time just to be and do some other things. But all that to say, as we start to enter a new era here, I hope you remember this lesson and try not to work so hard to eliminate your doubts and feel like maybe even you're failing if you don't eliminate them, but rather see them for what they are and choose a different path instead. The last moment that I want to bring up that was one of my favorite parts of this weekend was being in the underdog house on the last night. We were all together. So we just finished the strong day. Everyone was home. We had this amazing steak dinner. Oh my God. I was drooling so hard when I came home and an entire cow was laying on the freaking counter. Okay. I know that probably was a little TMI to some of you, but guys, that's heaven for me. Anyways, I digress on that. We had this awesome dinner, and before we got there, we actually went and picked up some ice cream cakes from Cold Stone because our private chef, aka Andy, who's Kevin's brother, who cooked for us all weekend, who cheered us on all weekend, was just truly a part of the team. It was his birthday that day. And so we surprised him with some cakes and we sang, and I took a moment to like look around the room and just to see who was in there with me and to see just like the joy and the community and the love. And I was just like, oh my God. As much as this weekend was cool and there was a lot that happened and all that jazz, like, this is it right here. There's nothing better than this, to be surrounded by your people. Like, at one point in your life when you felt like you were so alone and you didn't know where you were going, you had no aspirations, you felt like you were lonely. That was me once upon a time ago. To know that the one decision to say yes to myself that eventually led all the way to this point to where now I am amongst a community of people that are going to be best friends for the rest of my life, like, that is everything. I am overwhelmingly grateful for that. And that is like why it's one of my favorite moments of the entire weekend. Is no matter how saddened or gutted I might be about certain things that didn't happen, it honestly, guys, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we walked away from this weekend with closer bonds, with more community, with stronger relationships with each other. That's honestly it. And this is what I want to leave you with. Guys, feel all the feels, feel it all, and know that you are validated in it. But after you do that, please be intentional about seeking the good, seeking the lessons, and seeking the opportunity to become. Thank you guys so much for showing up for you today, and I truly hope that this episode helped. I am giving you all such a big hug from Colorado. I hope all of you have a great week recovering, getting back to 100%, and are holding your head high after what was an incredible weekend no matter what happens. Know that I'm always here for you. Feel free to reach out if you're struggling to navigate through anything. And until next week, you guys, stay tuned. There's going to be an amazing episode, another guest interview that's going to hit. I promise you don't want to miss it. See you guys then.